So I saw an interesting post on Facebook the other day. It said that President Trump's wall, the wall that he is building, the wall that he is repairing in order for us to have border security, that wall is racist. It seems like you can no longer, or I can no longer have a rational conversation with anyone that disagrees with my opinion when it comes to politics, when it comes to my conservative views on almost anything, it seems like these days, because that individual or those individuals get easily offended, and next thing you know, they put me in a category and they call me names and they start attacking my character and I can't, what happened to you, right? So anyway, so I saw this one thing about, the wall is a racist wall. It's a racist thing. Well, let's apply that same principle to the doors to your home and the doors to your car. If you parked your car, let's say, in a sanctuary city, let's say Baltimore, not far from where I am right now, and you're to leave your windows down and your doors unlocked with valuables clearly visible and the key in the ignition, how long do you think your vehicle and its your personal effects would last parked in that sanctuary city? Wait a minute. Your doors are racist. If you have doors and you lock your doors, isn't that racism? Or isn't that being racist? Or if you lock the doors or close the doors to your home, and by the way, doors are meant to keep people and maybe even critters from getting into your home unwanted. How about this? How about the idea that there may be, if someone is entering your home or your car without your knowledge or permission, is that not considered illegal? Why is it any different to our country if someone enters our country illegally? And we're simply trying to control who comes in, who goes out, like any other country in the world. I mean, try going into Canada illegally. Try going into Britain or any European country or any country in the world without a passport, undocumented. Quite honestly, I don't even know how people get airfare or tickets, get on a plane, and then end up in our country illegally, let alone the criminals. So look at this verse here. Again, it seems like I can't have a rational conversation with people that disagree with me politically and so forth. Proverbs 29:18 from the Message. This verse is also quoted in other. Everybody knows this. Almost everybody knows this text, and that is, without a vision, the people perish. Without spiritual guidance or a lack of vision, people perish. This says if people can't see, this version, the Message, says if people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. But when they attend to what he reveals, they're most blessed. I want to share this, particularly speaking to those of us who can be and should be doing something about what's going on in our nation. You and I can no longer allow to take place what's taking place. What do I mean by that? Well, I just simply said something with regards to immigration, right? And quite honestly, we have what we have because we haven't been seeing what God is doing, and therefore we're ineffective. So I implore you to join me and many, hopefully millions, if at least thousands of us who are really wanting to take our country back. Check out this image in this video. Let's go back to immigration. So here's a video on YouTube. Caravan of immigrants seeking asylum reaches U.S.-Mexico border. You may have heard about the caravan. It started off with a couple thousand or something like that. But over the years, I'm sure it's been tens, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, I don't know. But here they are. I'm just going to go ahead and show a few seconds of this clip. And by the way, it's my opinion that they're not all refugees. I think that many of them are just here as economic migrants that you and I end up supporting with our taxpayer dollars. Okay. Anyway, you've heard that, right? So check this out. So here's a bunch of people climbing. I think this is, there's a couple hundred people there. And, it's almost like, of course, refugees are welcome. Here's what I would say legally. There's a bunch of people waiting for them there. They look like they're just climbing the wall as if it's some kind of race, as if they've just conquered something. I don't get it. I really don't. No regard for the rule of law. That's the issue I have. And then you really can't blame them, because our immigration laws as they stand right now, which need fixing, they'll be detained by, our border security, corrupt judges, or judges that don't interpret the law as exactly as they are written. We'll catch them, tell them that, you understand that you're putting yourself in harm's way by being here, in a foreign country, and then they release them. It's catch and release. It's the dumbest thing, right? And they're supposed to come back. These people that cross our border are supposed to come back a year later to do things properly, or I don't know what that process is. But guess what? They don't come back. How do you know which one of these has malintent once they're here? You don't, because they're not vetted. Just saying. Here's another video clip. Remember the mayor, Oakland mayor, California, who quote unquote saved 800 illegals from ICE raids? Just got swift justice from President Trump. This is the Next News Network, Gary Franchi.
Some great news to report. The Oakland mayor, the one who saved 800 illegals from ICE raids, just got swift justice from President Trump. RWN reports that President Trump has given the Attorney General Jeff Sessions the nod to look into bringing charges against the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, for obstructing the job of agents from the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
What do you call that? That is called obstruction of justice. Saved? Are you kidding me? ICE agents had been trying to figure this out, and some of these folks that they had identified were violent criminals. Okay, I really hope that our Attorney General Jeff Sessions gets to work here and gets something done with this regard. Okay, I'm just talking about immigration, illegal immigration.
She's accused of using social media to send warnings to illegal immigrants about raids that would happen, and it allowed about 800 people to evade the agents and not be arrested. The president had previously insisted on a harsh penalty for her and her actions. His remarks were aimed directly at Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who was one of the nearly 24 opponents of the illegal immigration they gathered for a public meeting at the White House. Take a look.
Anymore. If you look at what's going on, because I think maybe more than any place else right now, there's a revolution going on in California. They want safety. You had the mayor of Oakland that I read, where you had 1,000 people. Tom, you know this because it was your deal. You had 1,000 people together. Many of these were illegals, they were criminals, they were all sorts of work. And she informed them, and they all fled, or most of them fled. And that whole operation that took a long time to put together, I mean, you talk about obstruction of justice. I would recommend that you look into obstruction of justice for the mayor of Oakland, California, Jeff. She advises 1,000 people. They told
Jeff,
get out of here, the law enforcement's coming. And you worked on that long and hard, and you got there, and there were very few people there. To me, that's obstruction of justice.
Yep.
And perhaps the Department of Justice can look into that with respect to the mayor, because it's a big deal out there. And a lot of people are very angry about what happened. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of danger involved. And that was a terrible thing. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Jeff, you better be listening and not just nodding your head.
There you go. All right, a couple more clips here. Here is Trey Gotti, and this is under Obama's administration. If the president can pick and choose which laws he likes, then so can the rest of us. Sounds reasonable, right? But at the end of the day, we don't get to choose which laws we like and which ones we don't like, which ones we obey, which ones we don't, because once that starts to happen, we lose justice. We do. People lose faith in the justice system. Why have laws? You just end up, like the Bible says, let me just pull a different version. If people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. Another version. Let's go with King James. See if we can get that to come up. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth. No, actually, there was another one I wanted to share with you. Let's try. Let's try that one. Amplified Bible. Here we go. Where there is no vision, that is, no revelation of God in his word, the people are unrestrained. In other versions, it says people cast off restraint. It's almost like lawlessness, right? You have this, well, we like this law, but we're not going to. Or how about this? The Clintons, Hillary Clinton, is treated differently than you or I when it comes to breaking the law. Imagine you and I were to walk out of the federal government with sensitive or top secret or classified information. Okay, even if we did that with just one email, let alone 33,000 emails, and who knows what was all in those emails. I think it's, anyway, long and short, you and I would be in prison, right? But because certain laws or certain, it's just a different set of standards for certain people. So here we are in danger of not having any restraint, kind of like what Trey Gotti's going to say here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The issue in this case actually implicates the very existence of the House. The law is the reason we exist. We do not exist to pass ideas or to pass suggestions. We make law with the corresponding expectation that that law
Why
will be
are we even having this conversation?
And executed, and we do so because the law is the thread that holds the tapestry of this country together. It is the most unifying, equalizing force that we have. It makes the rich respect the poor. It allows the powerless to challenge the powerful, and attempts to undermine the law, Mr. Speaker, regardless of motivation, are detrimental to the social order. In 2014, President Obama declared unilaterally that almost 5 million unlawful immigrants would receive deferred action under some tortured definition of prosecutorial discretion. I can't help but note the word discretion means sometimes you say yes and sometimes you say no, but of course, the administration has never said no. The court found not a single time has the administration said no, so that's not prosecutorial discretion, Mr. Speaker. That's lawlessness. And you may like what the president did. I take it from some of the speakers that they do, and you may actually wish what the president did was actually law. You may wish, Mr. Speaker, you may wish that when Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House for 2 years, that they had lifted a finger to do a single solitary thing about what they're talking about this morning. You may wish that. You may wish that all these grandiose policies that we are talking about this morning on the other side, that they cared enough about to actually make law when they had a chance, but they did not. And they know now that one person doesn't make the law in a republic. You may want to live in a country where one person makes the law, but that would not be this country. You would have to look for another one. And the president knows this because more than 20 times, Mr. Speaker, he said he could not do the very thing that he eventually did. His power didn't change. The law didn't change. The politics is all that changed, and we should have seen this coming, Mr. Speaker. He warned us on this very floor. He warned us that he didn't need the people's house. He said he'd do it with or without Congress, and many of you cheered when he said that. Many of you cheered because you benefit from the non-enforcement of the law today. But tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow is coming, and tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow you will cry out for the enforcement of the law. Tomorrow.
All right, so this is happening, right? California, sanctuary state. Media is not covering this, but the people of California don't want to be unsafe, and yet the mayor, the governor, and all these people are harboring these illegals, some of which, or many of which, are violent criminals, right? So where exactly do you draw the line? Now, I want you to take note that this was March 17th, 2016, thanks to our past administration, okay? And so today we have a mess. What's that mess? Check this out. This is at a typical press briefing with just this lady. She's my hero. I don't know how she puts up with this every day. But here we go. Check this out. This again has to do with immigration and calling these immigrants MS-13, very, very violent gang that's been admitted into our country by the hundreds, maybe thousands, being harbored, safe harbored in sanctuary cities. And now the media and the left are calling, once again. Well, anyway, check this out.
Many people in the country have been talking about it in the last 24 hours. What did the president mean when he said that some immigrants are not people, they're animals?
The president was very clearly referring to MS-13 gang members who enter the country illegally and whose deportations are hamstrung by our laws. This is one of the most vicious and deadly gangs that operates by the motto of rape, control, and kill. If the media and liberals want to defend MS-13, they're more than welcome to. Frankly, I don't think the term that the president used was strong enough. MS-13 has done heinous acts. It took an animal to stab a man 100 times and decapitate him and rip his heart out. It took an animal to beat a woman they were sex trafficking with a bat 28 times, indenting part of her body. And it took an animal to kidnap, drug, and rape a 14-year-old Houston girl. Frankly, I think that the term animal doesn't go far enough, and I think that the president should continue to use his platform and everything he can do under the law to stop these types of horrible, horrible, disgusting people. I'm going to.
Where there is no vision, no revelation of God and His Word, the people are restrained. I could go on and on about this. Okay. So, once again, pray. And with your prayer, have corresponding action. Only be strong and courageous. Leave your comments below, share and like. Love to hear your opinions. I'm not even sure if you're seeing these. If you are, at least click like or leave a comment, because I think, as you already know, and I've shared this with many of you, we're being censored. Okay? Talk to you later.